Thank you for listening to the Following Films podcast, where we dig beneath the surface of cinema to uncover the stories behind the screen. I'm your host, Chris Maynard, and today we're going deep into the heart of Diablo, a lean, ferocious action thriller starring Scott Adkins that lands today in theaters and on demand. Diablo is the story of Kris Chaney, a man fresh out of prison, carrying the weight of a promise and running from the kind of danger you can't hide from. The film features brutal martial arts choreography, a relentless villain, and a surprising emotional core. In this episode, I'm joined first by Scott Adkins, who talks about the physical and emotional challenge of playing Kris, a man torn between violence and redemption. Then I speak with Alana de la Rosa, who plays Elisa, a pivotal role that grounds the story with vulnerability and strength. We dive into her experience on set, working opposite Adkins, and what it meant to represent her Colombian roots in an international action film. And finally, close things out with director Ernesto Díaz Espinoza, who shares his vision for Diablo, from crafting terrifying villains to building tension through movement, silence, and raw human conflict. This is one of our most action-packed episodes yet, and there's a lot more going on beneath the surface than just fists and bullets. Welcome to Following Films. Let's get into Diablo. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what drew you to Kris in this role? Because this is a guy who definitely is haunted, I guess would be a way to put it. He's a guy with a past, and it's an interesting role. It seems like this could be a challenging one to take on.
Well, look, I was working on John Wick 4 with Marco Zaror, and it was on that movie that, because we go out to dinner, we'd spend some time together, and we came up with the concept of doing a movie together and this story, and we developed it with the director and then the writer who wrote the screenplay, Matt Sampson. And so that's what made me want to play it, because we'd created it from nowhere and then had this script, and I gave it to my manager and he got it produced and we made it in Colombia. And so really it was I wanted to work with Marco, who is a good friend of mine, and to spend some time together and do something together that we can be proud of, and together, keep moving forward in the industry and creating something and doing what we love to do. And just to do it with my friend, that's really what the reason was.
We're working with people you like. That's always a bonus, yeah. I would imagine. But
it helps.
You're one of those,
especially when you're doing action movies, because they get a bit stressful.
Of course, but you're one of those guys that works so much. I mean, you probably average 3 to 4 films a year, in some years even up to 6 or 7 movies. Yeah. It seems like.
I'm greedy. I can't help it. I spent the first 10 years of my career couldn't like buy a job. So now I'm like, I'll do them all.
So do you have that thing inside yourself that still feels that hunger from those early years, the lean years, when it just feels like it could all fall apart to some degree?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. When a film finishes, if you haven't got another one lined up, you immediately like, I'm never working again. It's over now. They figured me out. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah. You get very negative. It's such a horrible business in that respect, because I've been very fortunate, but I remember what it was like when you just, there's nothing. And sometimes things fall through at the last minute. So, don't spend all the money in the bank account until you're on the plane.
And even then, there's no guarantee you won't be turned around and sent back.
Yeah. Yeah. Force majeure. We're all going home and you're not getting paid. Bye.
So then with this, having, you're helping to create this, you're starring in it, you're producing it. This is a film that's pretty unusual in the genre bending elements of it. Was that something that was early on, wanting to have not only this human grounded story, but with something with heightened action and even horror elements to it as well?
Yeah, I suppose the horror thing came later. We knew, I'll be honest, we ripped off No Country for Old Men. We thought that's a good template. Like, do that as an action movie. And specifically Javier Bardem chasing Josh Brolin, trying to get him or trying to get something off him. And we were thinking, well, what is it? What are they trying to get? Is it a bag of money? It's, oh no, what if it's a girl? And who is this girl? And who is she to me? Oh, how about if I kidnap her at the beginning of the movie and you don't know what's going on? So what was your question again? I veered.
No, it's the genre.
The genre bending. The genre bending. So, it was action all the way. And we want a heartfelt story. And as soon as the girl is who she is, then, that you're going to be pulling on the heartstrings there. And we need to deliver with that. And then Ernesto was like, once we knew what the character was, he started to lean into the horror elements then. And because you introduced my character with an action sequence, and we were going to do the same for Marco. But he's like, no, man, I think we should do this like a horror movie.
Well, they introduce him, and I could be wrong on this. It's almost like the way that Freddy Krueger's introduced. It's where you see the arm on the wall and that kind of thing. It reminded me of the opening of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
And so it was seeing
Ernesto
those two.
could have pillaged from that as well. Could have.
No idea, but it let you know right away, I think, that you're in for something different with this one, which I think is really important.
It was Ernesto's idea with the hand, the fake hand and the knife. And we were like, oh yeah, we loved it. But then we were like, oh, we're going to be able to pull it off. And then you think, well, is it too much now because it's going into comic book anime territory? But I'm so glad we did it. But you're never sure really until the film comes out. Did it work?
It works. It works for me. So
yeah, brilliant.
To me, I tend to think of it as long as the rules of the world are being established and you don't break those rules, you're fine. So you're introducing this heightened reality immediately. And so, but it's never winking at you with it. It's never saying like, this is not something to be taken seriously. So I think that gives it the weight that you need it to have.
I think it's still pretty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I always want to know what the tone of the movie is. What is the feeling? Like I say to the director, if you could name another movie that you think this is going to be like, what is it? And then it's important to stick to that tone, especially when it comes to the action. Because if we started doing stuff too elevated with the wire work or backflips and all this, then that can be pulling you out of what the tone of the movie is. It's going somewhere else. So you've got to be in unison, of course. But that little bit of like quirkiness from left field, I think, really added to the character.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad you bring that up. The action sequences actually serving the narrative, because I think that's something that is often lost in action films where they will go too big and it's just, let's do everything we can in the action scene, then try to pull it back, and you're shifting gears so hard that, you think of like the sequence that's with you at that gas station pretty early in the film. And it's something that's fairly simple and straightforward, but it's not over the top, but it is something that you get the adrenaline going. It has stakes to it because it doesn't feel like you're a superhero in this moment. You get hurt.
Yeah. And also he doesn't want to fight these kids.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to fight. Like in his head, he's not a bad guy. We're not sure who this guy is at that point. But it's like, look, I don't want to have to kick the crap out of these like soccer kids. What are you making me do here?
Yeah. So
he reprimands her about it at the end, which, I think you don't often see stuff like that. It would have just been a fight scene and I'm off to the next action sequence. No, he doesn't want that. He doesn't want that. So we try to address those situations.
Well, in that way, it reminded me a lot of Man on Fire, where it really is that relationship between this father figure, literal father and daughter in this film. And so I think that's really the core of the story, that you don't betray, that it is about that relationship more than anything else, I think, here.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't want to weigh the film down with exposition either, because there is a backstory there and the audience needs to know about it. But we had some previous versions of the script. It's just like, you don't want to just talk about it. You want to show it. So we did discuss maybe some flashback sequences to see the past of his relationship with the stepfather and the mother. But, with scheduling and everything, we decided against that. So we wanted the audience to learn about Kris and the past at the same time as she does. He's a mystery, and the audience learns about who he is as she does. And that's the way we wanted to go with it, and not just have too much exposition.
Well, it's really more about that sort of visceral emotional connection more than it is about the details in that
Yeah.
sense, which I think it if you get buried in that, I think that's when you lose people sometimes when you get caught up in
Yeah.
the exposition element of it.
Yeah.
So, because we're really, from her point of view, we don't know that you're a threat or not. We don't know necessarily. We see those things early on that allow us to trust you. But at the same time, that's when she's buying in. So as an audience, we're
Yeah.
learning with her about you the whole time, I think.
And one of the things I really wasn't sure if it was going to work was her, at a certain point, she decides that she's not going to run away.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, she's been kidnapped by this guy. He's saying some stuff to her that she does not believe. But the way we played it was she doesn't want to believe it. But there's that little bit in her head eating away, saying that there's something about what he's saying that is true here. And I have to find out the truth. But that's why we made her so tough and cocky and verbally abusive to me, so that you get the idea that she feels she can handle herself, and in fact runs rings around my character verbally. But I wasn't sure if it was going to work, and I think it did work. So
I
yeah,
do
it's
too.
good. We don't have the budget to go back and reshoot it if it doesn't work. We just got to live with it.
No, I think you're in a good place with it because
Yeah,
you as the audience, you look at it and you think that she would have had, this is a smart girl. She would have had these doubts in the back of her mind. She would have known
yeah.
there was something here, and
She's seeing
it's
the
possible.
signs and she's repressed it back of the mind. I don't want to have to go there. And now she's forced to investigate the darkest thoughts.
Absolutely, because
Yeah.
you would see something in that. It's even this guy isn't that good of an actor at hiding everything. So I think that just
Yeah.
the life that they lived, she would have seen these elements and known something was up. But yeah, it's that ugly truth that we never want to admit about our parents. Most of them are
Mm.
not this sense, but it's that that thing that we all go through where you realize your parents are human. She saw the flaws in the system that she was in, and in her what she
Yeah.
thought was her father. I think that she sees that, but it's just owning that's the difficult thing that we all go through in some sense.
Well, that's the skill of filmmaking. I find it's like you think is you sorting out that jigsaw puzzle in your head. You see the film in your head. You think it's going to work, and it's not until you've edited it together that you see what the film really is that you were making. You've got it in your head, and then there it is. And do those choices work? And sometimes, like, you see the first cut of a movie, and you're like, well, obviously that doesn't work. Why was I so stupid? But it's the conception of the script and then the actual filming of it where you've got to make the right choices. Because for us, we don't get to go back and change it, so it can be tricky.
Are you able to divorce yourself from the movie in your head and the movie that you're seeing with your eyes? I find that very difficult to actually view something with a clean slate. If I've been involved with it prior to the first time I'm
Yeah,
viewing it.
no, I mean, you can't. You've got to rely on. So the first time you read a script, I mean, we wrote this, so,
Hmm.
but the first time I read a script, that's the first time I'm seeing the film for the first time. And so I don't want to read it tired. I want to give it my best shot and even make some important notes of things that jump out off the page, because you're never going to get that experience again.
Mm.
When you're so deep in the woods like we were, writing it, filming it, editing it, it's hard to see what it really is. But whenever you get the first cut, you'll see a completely different thing to what you thought. And it's horrible. The first cut, you're like, wow, this is crap. This is absolute trash. And then you got to like do your best to hone it back into what you wanted it to be, or what it now should be, for it to be the best product that it can be with what you've got.
So then, do you are you able to appreciate your own work and go back and look at it and say, okay, we did this one. There's these things that I would change about it. Of course, I think anybody that looks at their own art has that feeling it's to some degree, but you're able to say, yeah, we got that one. We got pretty damn close on this one. Because I think you got a really good film here, man.
Yeah, no, I do too. You're always learning. 10 years from now, I'm going to know a lot more, hopefully. And
Yeah.
so I'll probably look back at Diablo and be like, But that's you get better and better. I mean, I can't watch my acting from 10 years ago. Don't make me. I don't need to be seeing that. But gladly, I've got better I'm very happy that I've got better, and I'll continue to get better. So it's
It's
hard
the,
to look too far back.
it's the amazing thing about, I'm almost 50. I'll be 49 this year. And when I
Me too.
look,
49 next week.
oh, well, happy almost
Yeah.
birthday. There you go. Very
Thank
nice.
you. You too.
We're really close in age because I'll be August 1st is mine. So we're
Yeah.
not
Okay.
far off at all for
Yeah.
49. So, I look back at who I was in my 20s and, from my 30s, it was my God, I didn't know shit. And then I look back at my 30s from the point of view of 40. It's like I was a little bit closer, but man, I really didn't know anything. And I'm really looking forward to the point of view that I have from my 50s to my 40s. And it's just because it keeps getting better as far as
Yeah.
looking back. And I feel like a more fully actualized person. And the work that I
Yeah.
create, I think, is getting better also.
I'm with you, except for the fact that my body needs to work
That,
at a very
that's,
high level.
yeah, that's true.
So
No,
it's kind of like this for me.
but
What I gain in wisdom, I'm losing in lower back strength.
But you're getting better at holding a scene
Yeah.
with your eyes. You're getting better at holding a scene with the words that you're saying. So you don't have to
Yeah.
rely as much on just the pure adrenaline element of it. So I think that's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing that you could do this for the rest of your life if you want to.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully. I'd love to. Um, please let me. Please
Do
let
you
me, internet.
do you see yourself transitioning into doing more straightforward drama, or is it always action is the first calling for you?
I'm going to milk the action for as long as I can because honestly, I love the genre. It was
So do
my
I.
dream as a kid. And I've got a very loyal fan base that I don't want to let
True.
down, but I want to stretch myself and do different things. I've got a film coming out with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in January where there's, none of this martial arts shenanigans. That's just straight acting, baby. And yeah, absolutely want to do more stuff like that. But for as long as I physically can, I'll make action films because that is who I am. Not selling myself short in any other areas, but that is what I wanted as a kid. That was the visualization, and so I want to keep doing it. But yeah, get wiser, tell better stories, become a better actor, become a better filmmaker, and maybe even go off into directing. Let's see. But it's always going to be making films for sure.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it. And considering we're right about the same age, and I think we probably watched a lot of the same films growing up, had an incredible body of work. But I would imagine, and I could be wrong on this, but your involvement in Universal Soldier, that was such a huge movie for me as a kid.
Yeah.
And that must have, I would assume, would have been a surreal experience for you.
Oh my God. I remember seeing the trailer. Like we used to have America's top 10 in England.
Hmm.
The movies would always come out first in America. So I'd always be staying up late to watch that. Casey Kasem, right? America's top 10.
Yeah, 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 of course.
And the trailer for Universal Soldier, and they were running through walls, and then the truck goes off the cliff. And, Ralph Muller with the machine gun and Tiny Lister, and Van Damme and Dolph in the same movie. Yeah, it was amazing for me. So to find myself starring in Universal Soldier 4 and laying waste to the two stars of the original, that was not lost on me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would imagine so because it's one of those things that
Do you know, I think Universal Soldier was the first 18 certificate I ever went to see. Because I
really
was about 16, I think.
that sounds right. It
Yeah.
would have
In
been, yeah.
England, you had to be 18 to watch it. In America, you just go with your dad, right?
Well,
But
depending on the theater if they actually
yeah,
checked an ID or not, but for the most part, they don't. You could buy rated R tickets if you could look over the counter.
much more strict in England. So
It's
yeah.
reversed. I guess in England, it's if I can look over the bar, I could go buy a beer, but I
Oh,
can
you
go
can
see.
get pissed. You can get pissed, but you can't watch the violent movie.
Dude, well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today, Scott. It was a pleasure to meet you, man. I know we're out of time now, but yeah, congratulations. You got a special one here, and I'm definitely looking forward to whatever else you have coming down the pike next.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Really appreciate it,
Uh,
mate. I love the
Take care, man.
conversation. Thanks a lot.
Bye bye.
Okay, see ya.
Hey,
How are you today?
great, and you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I am kind of annoyed at you because I'm 48 years old, and to see somebody your age already doing this well is a little bit of a pain in the ass. So, first of all, my question is, how dare you, I guess?
I'm so sorry. I feel guilty right now.
You shouldn't. You did great in the film. So, I was actually very impressed because for someone who's so young to carry essentially the emotional weight of this entire film, it's on your shoulders. So, could you talk a little bit about this is the first major role in your life, and to take on something like this with this much pressure? How did you approach it?
I know. Yeah, it was a new challenge for me. I've been acting since I was 4 years old. So,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, but this one it was a very special one. We can say because it was a new challenge for me. A new whole character and the fact that it was action movie, it's a more responsibility,
Mm.
and way more than that my character it's a main character. So, and this one is my first main character in a movie. So it was a bunch of new responsibilities, but at the same time, it was a new challenge for me as a person and also as an actress. And everything was with my dad and my mom. That's the main thing I'm gonna tell you. Like I've been doing this thanks my mom and my dad. They've been supporting me and they've been with me all the time since I tell them like I want to be an actress. And they've been there to support me and thanks to them, I'm here doing Elisa. So
So,
so yeah.
are you Colombian?
Yeah, I'm
So,
Colombian.
how common is that for? Because here in America, you tell your parents that you want to go into the arts, you want to be an actor, you want to, do a painter, whatever it is that you choose. I want to be a writer. There's a lot of parents that push back on that. In Colombia, is that a common pursuit for people to pursue? Okay, that's what I thought.
No, it's not.
Okay,
Honestly, no, it's not. It's super rare. And when I tell them like, oh yeah, I've been acting a long time ago, they're like, oh really? And I'm like, yeah, thanks to my mom and my dad. And they're like, oh, you can hear like comment often like situations like, oh no, I don't want my daughter to be an actress. I want it to be a doctor. I want to study
sure.
this, and you're gonna study this because I'm this. That's how I work there. This is my family is a different situation. We're special. We're different. Yeah.
Okay, so then you get the script, you look it over. What was the thing that attracted you to this role beyond the just the weight of it of being such a large role, but the actual character itself? What made you think like I can do this?
I would say the action. This is my second
Really?
action movie. Yeah, this is my second action movie. And I was like, damn, I need to do this. Like, if I don't get the role, oh my God, I will cry so bad because I really want to be in it. And the time that I was reading the scenes that I got for my casting, I was looking myself there. That I was like, I've been made for be Elisa. That this is my character. Like, I see Elisa so good that like I want to do her so bad. And then I did two scenes first, and then the producer called me and he goes like, the director want to talk to you. And I was like,
Mm.
okay, that's a good sign. And then he talks to me, Ernesto, and he goes like, Alana, I don't want to tell you how I see Elisa. Just do whatever you want. And I'm like, okay, that's my moment to shine. Like I love doing this. Like I'm gonna do Elisa how I see it. And I did the other two scenes because they wanted to see how she could be like the strong character and also the vulnerable part, like the
Mm.
sentimental and hard part of the movie. And I did both, and they were obsessed with the result, like how you can tell and you can see Elisa over the screen. And also they show the casting to Scott, and they were like, "This is the girl. This is the girl." And I was so grateful and proud. And 2 months after, I was with Scott in set, and it
So
was
you never auditioned with Scott to do
no,
the? Wow.
I didn't. It was like they showed the casting to him, and he was like, "This is the girl. This is the next Ana de Armas. Like, I need her to be in my movie." And then Ernesto called me, and he was like, "Welcome to Diablo. You're Elisa." And I'm like, so yeah. And then that happened, and then like a month or two. Next we were in Colombia. Well, I was in Colombia, but they got there, and we were doing like 2 weeks before shooting. We were practicing. We had meetings, to outfits and stuff. Like there was a whole preparation, and then we were shooting the movie.
That's fantastic. That's such a whirlwind. That's so fast for that to happen and come together like that. And the chemistry that you have with Scott is actually, I think, the most important part of this film. And there feels, even though I think that dynamic might work because you're just getting to know each other on screen as well as in real life too. So you don't have that history that you're leaning on because there has to be this uneasy tension between the two of you that's both sad and very funny at times. Like the moment that, like, you're a smartass in this film, and I actually really like that about your character.
Yes, look that when we met each other, it was in a meeting, like us two.
Hmm.
And he was like, "Hi, Alana, I really liked it. Like, I'm obsessed with your work. Like, I love it." And then I was like, "There's no way I'm talking to Scott right now. Like, that's unbelievable." And then when we met each other, like in person, it was like it felt like we've been friends since forever. Like it's
Mm.
crazy. And this big connection that we had, it was like out of nowhere. And then in set we couldn't be in set together. And the fun fact is that we had in set like all the time, but like we were making fun and we were like laughing all the time. But when we get in character, we were like, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me because I have to be a bad person to you. I don't know you. You no no no. So it was like a hard thing because we are so connected that we couldn't take it seriously, you
Mm.
know? So it's fun. And I was like all the time with him. It's just like it feels like a family. Like something it's
Yeah.
weird. Honey, it's weird. But at the same time it helped a lot in the movie and you can see it and it's crazy. It's crazy and how he's so professional in set and how you can see when he's doing the fights and all of these martial arts, you can tell how passionate he is and how he loved being in set. And he's so perfectionist. Like he's like, I didn't like it again, 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 until he was happy to with the result.
And one of the things that I've noticed in all of his films, but especially in this one, is that he uses martial arts and action sequences as something to drive the narrative. That it's not something that is the most spectacle that you could possibly fit into a scene. It's not the biggest, boldest action. It's something that is character and story appropriate each time, and it's just building throughout. And it's just something that absolutely serves the story. I think that that is the thing that's unlike a lot of action films. And I'm a sucker for action movies, I think, but this is a story first action film.
This is different, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're making a whole different story. And look, this funny fact that like they told me when we were recording the movie is that they Marcos and Scott, they knew each other for a long time
Oh
ago,
yeah.
worked with John Wick together, the last one, and they were shooting at John Wick, and they were like, we need to do a movie together. We need to make history in action movies. Like we need to be together. And they were like, yeah, but like what we're gonna fight for? We need to fight for something. Like we need to have a purpose to fight, you know?
Hmm.
And they were like, yeah, let's steal something. No, that's like boring. Like that's normal. Like you can see it in a lot of movies. We have to fight for something like I don't know, like a woman. No, no, like a girl. And they got like, we're gonna fight for a little girl. That's different. That's insane. And they built this story and that's why I got Elisa. But like the way that they got this idea and how they were building also with Ernesto, and they were so professional. Let me tell you, like the camera, how it was perfect. Like they have like a whole choreo doing like
Hmm.
the camera's gonna be here, the punch is gonna be there. Like it was so professional that like, I mean, we're gonna do history with Diablo. Like, o sea, it's really good. It's really good.
So has your family seen the film yet?
No, and me either. I haven't
You
seen
wait,
it.
wait, you haven't seen the movie yet? You don't
No,
even know?
no, I
It's
don't know.
it's good. Just so you know, it is good.
Thank you. I wanna. Yesterday I was here in Lionsgate, and I was like, they were like, "Oh my God, are you excited for tomorrow? Because today's the premiere." And I was like, "Yeah, I want to see the movie." And they were like, "Wait, hold on, you haven't seen it?" And I was like, "No, Marco's already here. Like everyone already watching." I'm like, "This is a surprise for me, so I'm excited, but I'm super nervous."
So, how do you handle seeing yourself on screen? Are you able to actually look at your own work and be objective about it, or do you just judge yourself too harshly?
Yeah,
Okay.
let me tell you, it's like a love and hate relationship. It's a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it, but the thing is, like, I'm Virgo, so I'm super hard with myself. So
Okay.
if I don't like something or I don't like myself, like, oh, I did this face and I don't like it, I'm like, I'm gonna hurt myself. I'm like, why do you do that? Like, no, no, no. So it's I don't know. I think I like my last movie that was Dominic. I had to watch it like two times to actually enjoy the movie. Like, oh, it was really good. Like, accept my work. Like
Yeah.
I did good. Like, it could be better, but I did good. It was like the third time that I was like, okay, I did good. But the first one, I almost cried. I was like, oh my god, why? Why? I didn't like it. But it was not because of the movie. It was me. It's just me in my acting. I don't know. It's something weird, but I think today it's gonna be something like I made a dream come true. This is a dream, and this is a whole different challenge for me. So I'm just gonna enjoy and let myself just be happy and just have fun watching myself. I
You
think.
should. But what happens inside you to go from that place of self-hatred and complete disregard for yourself and saying, I hate this movie, I hate myself in this movie, to I should do that again. And because these are not given to you. You have to work your ass off to get these things. So
I don't know. The thing is, like, this happens to me very often. Every time that I do a new project, like if I see the last one, I'm like, I'm such a bad actress. Like, I sucked. But then I see the new one and I'm like, oh, I'm a good actress, like, oh, it looked good. If I see my projects for 3 years ago, I'm gonna be like, hell no. It's really bad. I don't know. I feel like it's more a thing like since the times by, like I've been like I don't know, like I've been like a better actress. Like, I don't know,
yeah,
I get better. I learn more and I do it better. So I know that like today that I'm gonna watch Diablo, I'm gonna be like, I did good, but maybe I could be better. 3 years later in the future, I'm gonna be like, Elisa is really bad. Like, I don't know what happened to me. Like, I sucked in this movie. But that's part of life, and that's how this world works, I think. I don't know.
well, no, that's how it should be. That's like, it's not unlike in sports where you look back at game tape and you go back and you say, okay,
Yeah, no, you
uh,
can't redo it. It's that's it.
it's done. But you can look back at it and say, okay, I would do this differently now. The next time I have this opportunity, this is what I'll do in this opportunity. I could see I was leaning into this trick that I was doing at the time, this thing that I would never do now. And so your process is going to get better as you go along, the more chances you get to do it. So
Yes, and more work, like the best way to learn, because like a lot of people tell me like, oh, I need to study acting, like I need to be in like an academy or something. I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, no.
you need to act.
You have to be in set. You need to be doing this so you can learn. That's the best way to actually learn. Be there and leave the experience. So every time that I'm doing more work, more movies, more projects, I'm learning more and more and more and becoming better. So that's why I'm telling you, like, this is good, but maybe in the future it's gonna be way better.
Of course. And then do you think you would eventually want to move to the States or move to England or move to somewhere else to further your career, do you think?
I would love to. I would
Yeah?
love to, and I would love to get a role and live in different parts of the world for I don't know, like 9 months or 10 months, to live that life. Right now, I'm in Miami. Like, I live in Miami.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, I live in Miami right now. I'm here in LA for Diablo, but I've been, I moved to Miami like a year ago. It was super new for me, and it's because of my career.
How
So
do you
yeah.
like Miami versus Colombia?
I love it. I love
Yeah?
it. I missed Colombia. I'm not gonna hold you. I missed Colombia, but at the same time, it's just I wanted to have more opportunities in my career, and
Of
the
course.
best way to do it is move forward. If I'm gonna stay and just keep doing the same thing, I'm not gonna make it to Hollywood how I want it to be, you know? So that's why I'm in Miami, but you never know, next year or in 2 years when I graduate from my school, I'm gonna be like, I'm done here, I'm gonna move to LA, and then, you know, my life, it's, you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. But yeah, I want to move here to LA, and I want to make it to Hollywood. So I need to work hard and see what happened.
Well, I mean, you're pretty darn close already that you're 2 years away from graduating and you're still going to your first big Hollywood premiere tonight. So that's got to be a pretty nerve-wracking experience for you right now.
It's gonna be yeah.
So then how does your family feel about it as far as did they move here for you for your career?
They did.
Wow. That's
They
that's
did.
pretty impressive. Those are special people.
It is. It is. They're here backstage listening to me right now. Yeah, they did. We had a big conversation with my mom and my dad, and we were like, yeah, I talked. I don't know. It's just Colombia. I love Colombia and everything, but like, there's a limit, you know. And I touched the limit already, and I need to grow. I need to be better. I need to search for new opportunities, new people. So
Mm,
my mom and my dad were like, Alana, no matter what, we're gonna support you. We're gonna be there for you. So let's make this decision, start from zero, and let's do it. Because no matter what, you're gonna be 30 years old, and you're gonna be like, I made it. So,
yeah.
you know, we're looking for the results, but if we want results, we need to work hard, and that's the work hard. And yeah, it's just my mom and my dad and me forever and ever.
That's amazing. Okay, I have a question. It kind of has two parts to it.
Okay.
And then I'll get back to the movie, but this is like a personal moving thing. What is the food that you miss the most that you can't get in America from Colombia? And what is the thing that you found in being here in the last year that you love that you maybe didn't have prior to moving here?
I don't have a fruit, but I have a plate.
Okay.
Very Colombian plate, like, no sé, ajiaco. There's a type of soup at
Hmm.
the restaurants in Colombia. Like, oh my God, I miss them so much. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, Bogota, I love, because I'm from Bogota, I'm the main city from
Hmm.
Colombia. And I'm like, yeah, I love Bogota, but at the same time, I love the beach. So that's why I'm obsessed with Miami. I'm in the beach all the time, every single weekend. So I loved it. And also my dad already like lived a long time ago in Miami, so he knew Miami already, and
Hmm.
my family too. So we were like, I'm obsessed with Miami. I loved Miami. And also like the people. Like you
Hmm.
can see in Miami there's a lot of Latinos, but I
Oh,
also
yeah.
like it here. And I see myself, this is the second time in LA, and I'm obsessed with LA too. Like I see myself going to UCLA, the university college, and also in the whole like premieres and movies and shooting 2 or 3 movies per year. Like I see myself here in the future. So but also I know that I'm gonna go back to Colombia, but it's just gonna be like for 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. You know, I'm never gonna forget Colombia. So, but yeah, I love LA, Colombia, and Miami.
Wherever the work is.
Yeah, of
And
course.
so then, okay. Um, what do you hope to do next in your career? What's the next type of film you want to do? Because you mentioned doing an action film was really, you liked that, but you were attracted to that role. Is that what you want to keep doing, or do you want to do different things?
For sure.
Okay.
It's my second movie, like action movie, and the way that like all the time surprised me because I need to learn a lot and I'm
Hmm.
never ready, like actually prepared. Like I need to be prepared, but I'm never ready. You know, like there's every single time there's a new thing to learn. So I love that. And my two favorite genres that I want to dedicate myself doing, it's horror and action movies and fiction.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well, what's your the horror films that you've enjoyed?
every single horror movie, like I enjoy. I'm not scared of it. I just, the thing is, like I see it like as an actress. That's the fun thing. I don't see it
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, I'm gonna scare, like I'm scared, whatever. I'm not like that. All of my friends, when we do like plans to hang out and everyone's watching like the movie, they're like super scared, and I'm like, this was
What are
wrong.
they doing?
Yeah, what are they doing? Like, oh, this is an actress. This was like green screen, or I don't know, the camera was here, there was a car here, like more
Yeah.
professional view. So I love it. I've done one horror movie. It was in Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah, I had like 9 years old. I was a baby. Yeah, and also I did The Exorcist in theater. There
Hmm.
was like a lot, like you can
Yeah.
see it, and I did it in Colombia. So yeah, I love it. I love it, and I don't take it like personal. It's just like it's a fun thing to do. That's the thing. Like it could be like religion or something like the scary stuff and like
Yeah.
delicate stuff. I don't think it like that. I'm just like it's a character. It's not personal. It's not me. It's not Alana. It's my character. So I'm not gonna mix it. But yeah, I want to be the next Ana de Armas. Let me tell you, in action movies. I want to be the next Ana de Armas. I love her so much, and she's one of my main reference in acting. So let's see what happens in the future.
You're on your way, so you're definitely headed in the right direction, and you did a great job in the film. I look forward to you seeing it tonight and to see. I hope you enjoy it as much as we did, as everyone that's seen it, because you did a hell of a good job here. So congratulations on it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it was a pleasure to meet you, and congratulations. Hope to see you again sometime.
Bye.
Take care. Thank you. Bye bye. Hey, Ernesto, how are you today?
Good, and you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for taking time to do this today, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you too, man. I appreciate your support in the movie, so thank you very much.
Oh, well, it was a pleasure to watch it because right off the bat, from the opening scene, there's kind of two moments that are tied together where you have this action moment and then you meet the big villain in back to back. But when you meet the villain, there's a scene that kind of reminded me of Nightmare on Elm Street to some degree. The way that it's presented with this arm against the wall and these things, and the way he's working in his little shop that he has, and it just reminded me of this. And I was thinking of this horror and action juxtaposition. And I felt like, oh, I'm in interesting hands here. So I was just excited for this right away.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it because that was the idea. I really wanted to introduce this horror bad guy or monster into an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, that's what we wanted.
And can you talk a little bit about trying to strike that balance of having essentially it's a horrific or horror-like character in that sense where it has horror elements. The film is kind of that uses the visual language of a horror movie as well as an action movie at time and kind of going back and forth between those two worlds.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of intuition. It's a lot of things that you want to do because you like watching those kinds of movies,
Yeah.
So I wanted to, well, when we started cranking the story with Scott, Marco, and Matt, was part of it was making the movie that we want to see, And the movie that I wanted to see was this mix of genres. I wanted to have when you have this kind of bad guy that you are scared, from, gives another level to the movie, and two of the references are No Country for Old Men, that you have a character like that, and the Terminator.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely.
Yeah. And there you have that mix of genres too, I think. One is a crime with a bit, a horror vibe, and the other one's an, proper action movie.
Well, the first Terminator, if you go back and rewatch it's sci-fi, but it has a lot of horror elements to it where
Exactly.
it's told like a horror film. And No Country for Old Men, it's like a Western with these genre elements in it, or the way that it comes together. So I can absolutely see that blending of genres because that makes sense to me. And I like it when a film isn't pigeonholed into the rules around one story that they can bring in, because all of us, films behind me, that's not just one genre. We're all influenced by all these different types of stories. So when you see something that is willing to be bold and kind of take these different ideas, that you can actually make something really original feeling by doing that.
Yes, and that's the idea when you make a movie, to try to do something different. I mean, there's, they say that you have just 33 stories or something like that. And that's true, man. That's true. And the magic is, or the beauty is how you tell those stories, or how you mix those stories. And we wanted to have something unique in Diablo. We that was one of the goals, and this mix with horror was part of it, and also the Latin flavor that brings Colombia to the table. We were exploring and trying to bring something to the genre, something new.
Well, and at the end of the day, though, you're really telling this story about a father's redemption more than anything else is really the center of the story. And I feel like you could remove the genre elements from this particular film and it would still stand up. You could have this story, which is really just about this father trying to reconnect with his daughter who's outside of his care now. And I think that's really the heart of what matters in this story.
Yeah, yeah. The heart of the story. That's something that I always try to. Maybe it's the most important thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Putting that heart in whatever movie I make, and yeah, and a big part of it was finding Alana de la Rosa.
Mm.
For to play the girl. Because obviously we created the story with Scott, so he was part of it. Also, big part is that we have daughters, Scott, Marco, me, and so we were missing that other obviously part that it's the actress, and that is very difficult to find in Latin America an actress that age, that talented, and that speaks English.
Yeah.
So when we found her, we were like so happy, and she also brought new stuff to the table. She was so strong. The character in the script was strong and with this personality, but she was more. She brought more. So it was amazing to work with her. It was really really cool.
Well, you have to have somebody who's able to stand up next to Scott that can verbally spar with him, somebody that can stand up and hold her own against him, which is not an that she's a 16-year-old girl. I mean, I outside of Latin America, go anywhere in the world. That's going to be
Yeah,
tough to find any teenager that can do that. And then to
exactly.
pull that down to such a specific area and finding that and having really, as you're saying, the heart of your film anchored on that, that's a scary proposition. Was there any point where you thought, well, maybe we can just get a 25-year-old and somebody with a little bit more experience that we could put under it because she's a kid but she does great here, man.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that was an idea, and that happens a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
most of the time is 20 something and looks like 15.
sure.
And actually, Alana was 15 years old when we shot the movie. So yeah, 15 or maybe 14. I don't know. Yeah, 15. So yeah, we're so proud also. Uh, that she made the movie better, and was really fun with Scott when we were doing the scenes that you need to solve a lot of problems because you have less time than you thought to do a scene, or you're shooting in a place that was different to the place you did the rehearsal, so
Mm-hmm.
you need to solve a lot of stuff, and she solved almost all the scenes with her ideas. She was so connected and talented and professional. So was really me and Scott remember watching each other like she's making the movie.
Was the humor something that she brought to it, or was that something that was in the script? Because she's a very funny actress. She carries herself. She has an emotional thing she has to play her, but she's a smartass, and plays that very well.
Yeah, I mean the script has this humor, but you can. I mean, when you read it, it's not the same.
Mm,
Sometimes you kind of smile, and sometimes you don't. That's you don't feel anything. It's just words. She brought this obviously more,
sure.
and also I gotta say that Scott is a big part of that humor. He showed this angle, and he's very funny in real life, and he put a lot of that into the movie, into the scenes, interacting with her, joking around, before the scenes, throwing new stuff to the scenes. So he's big part of that humor too.
Well, this is one of the rare action films where all the stuff that's in between the action sequences, I'm not waiting, just, kind of idly trying to pass, looking at my phone or trying to pass the time waiting for the next, moment like that. And I've seen plenty of movies like that where it's just pure spectacle. And in fact, there's almost a little bit of the inverse where you go back and forth, where you have those moments where you do actually dwell for a little bit of time and you have these deeper character moments that'll go on for a little bit longer. And then you'll have the action moment. And I really enjoy both of those, but it's because of the balance that's pulled off here.
Well, man, thank you. That's a huge compliment, because that's something that we try to do in our movies, and when someone appreciates it, obviously we are happy, and yeah, we try to that has to be is connected with what I told you about the heart,
Yeah.
that we needed to have that heart in those scenes, so when you get to the fight scenes you feel something for the characters, especially for the final showdown. you know?
Well, of course, because it's you set it up so here's a guy that can actually hurt our protagonist. That you have it set up that this protagonist is somebody who can clearly take care of himself, but he's found a foe, a worthy adversary, somebody that can really do damage to him. And so, but you keep that at just enough of an arm's length that by the time you're getting to that, there's actual dread, which is something you normally don't see in films like this, that you have an actual threat that this movie could go into an area that you don't expect. I think that you do feel that tension. It's because of the emotional weight. It's not because of the visceral action sequence, which the action sequences are very satisfying, but I think they are always rooted in narrative, if that makes sense.
Cool, man. Yeah, I mean that's what we wanted, and yeah, I'm glad you're saying it, because it's hard work to get there. It's hard
Well,
work.
then, what's the most challenging part of making a film like this?
Uh, well, I think b- obviously the fight sequences are really difficult to do and challenging for sure. I mean, but at some point and you want to make better sequences than your other movies. Always you want to go another step
Mm-hmm.
up, but it is about the scenes in between, the
Mm,
drama, the characters, not having the stereotypes,
mm.
just having the archetypes, and try to have new stuff and hold those scenes, and make the audience take care of. I mean, yeah, feel with the characters.
Of course, that's the goal, I think,
Yeah.
of any film, is that sense of empathy, to be in their shoes. And when you have a heightened film like this, that can be a tall order sometimes. I mean, I'm the type of person that I love genre films, so I can watch a ton of movies that really there's just a moment that I can hang my hat on, that I can say, no, it's not a good movie. Go watch it because they do this one thing in it that's really cool.
Mm.
It's not often that I come across genre films like this where I can say, no, just go watch this movie. I think it's just a well-made movie, and I think that's what you have here. That you have a well-made, well-rounded movie. That it's not something that is pure spectacle or not something that is straightforward drama. It's something that the drama is in conversation with the spectacle, and the spectacle is in conversation with the drama.
Mm. Cool, man. Thanks, man. Yeah, and that has to be with a team that was totally connected with the story and passionate about the story, and I feel lucky, also to have been able to find all these people to work with
Yeah,
me, and be so, you know yeah, passionate is the word for the work.
that makes perfect sense. And what is would you say you would want to go back and film, because you shot this in Colombia, correct?
Yeah.
Do you, I think that shooting there adds so much to the story because of how it looks and feels, and it gives that sense of gritty reality that you can't necessarily replicate in Culver City. It
I see.
feels
Yeah.
that thing you can't do. Would you want to go back to shoot there again?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I love them. I love the people, I love the team, Yeah, and hopefully we'll do a sequel there. Would be amazing.
Are you able to find crews there, or are you bringing in most of your crew?
uh, Everybody is Colombian beside the DP.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's great.
yeah, and well, some producers, but
Yeah. But
yeah,
pretty much everybody else is on the crew. They all are. That's
yes,
fantastic. That's great. And were they welcoming to you and embracing the project?
yeah. I felt so good with them. Yeah, they treat me like a brother. So yeah,
Very nice. Excellent.
yes.
So then what's going to be next for you? Do you think you're staying with action, horror kind of genre stuff, or do you think that you have the itch to do something that's more of a straight drama or something different than either?
I have a horror script.
Yeah?
I have a crime drama script, and I have another brutal action script that I finished actually yesterday to make with hopefully with Marco and Scott again.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great.
Yeah,
You guys are just, that's kind of like your almost like you guys have your little camp that you've set up that you're just going to keep going out there and doing these things once every couple of years or so. It feels like at this
yeah,
point.
that's the idea. It would be awesome.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the film. I think you got something really special here. I really enjoyed it. Is there is there something that when people are seeing this, what do you hope that their takeaway is from the film?
Well, I think what you said that to find that heart inside a brutal, violent action movie. I would like people to find to feel those emotions with the characters and see that it's something else there.
Well, I think you have one of those movies that somebody could go into it just wanting spectacle and they'll be fine. They will absolutely be entertained. They want something that's thrilling. They will enjoy this. But somebody that maybe is wanting something a little bit more, you could easily recommend this as well. There's not very many action films like this that I would feel comfortable saying, hey, I think my mom would actually enjoy this one. Because the
Cool.
Venn diagram of films like this that we both enjoy, it's very limited. So I think that this is one of those ones that it's going to find a very wide audience because it's a solid movie you got here, man.
Cool, man. Thank you so much. Thank you
Dude,
so
well,
much.
thank you for taking the time to do this, Ernesto. It was a pleasure to meet you, man.
You too. You
All
too.
right,
Thank you very
take
much.
care. Bye bye.
We had some bridges that we wired and blown. That time's over now. So over now. I can't say I'm sad to see it go. That's over now. So over now. So what you doing in a couple of years? On a Saturday. Round Halloween, I'll take your hand and I'll spit up fake blood. Should have known. So now here we go. It looks like the winter's never gonna be cold. It looks like the winter's never gonna be cold. I don't remember the cold times so well. We got so drunk that night. I watched you stomp the life out your phone. I felt special then. It was bad taste or dead alive. And I know you know. I meant what I said. It looks like the winter's never gonna be cold. It looks like the winter's never gonna be cold. I don't remember the cold time so well. And most people never get what you've always been, always been, always been. And most people never get